Publisher journey. Let me talk about the publishing process right now, behind the scenes for me. And if you want to learn more details how to do it, click the link below the video, check out my training, and I'll teach you how to do it as well, step by step. So first thing I do is you got to come up with an idea, especially whether it's fiction or non-fiction, it doesn't matter. You got to come up with a book concept. And so come up with the book concept first. What I like to do is I like to come up with the book topic, then I come up with the title, then I come up with the table of contents, the outline. This is the exact steps I even teach in my original book, How to Make Money with eBooks, that had a 7-step formula how to start and grow and build your publishing business. And by the way, because I talk about the importance of having the right title, the topic, and an outline in the beginning. And that's exactly what I do now as well. And basically, now I'm using AI, so it's a lot faster than before. So I come up with a topic first, then I come up with the table of contents, then I come up with a title and a subtitle. And matter of fact, after that, I also come up with a book description, so I can be ready. Okay, and I'll tell you why I need the book description, all these details in place before I even finish the book and before I even format the book, okay? Because once I get that information, I could set up the draft, for Amazon, for Kobo, for Google, for all these other platforms beforehand, before I finish the formatting, before I even finish the content. And that helps because sometimes, as you work online, you'll realize you don't want to work at the same location all the time. Sometimes you get bored, so sometimes you like to just go and work in different locations, right? You want to be free. You want to enjoy life at the same time. So a lot of times when I, work somewhere else, for example, it's just easier to do certain work at home. For me, I like to create content and do formatting at home. It's just a lot easier because you can focus, no distractions. But as someone who works online at home, works online remotely and whatnot, sometimes you want to work in different environments. When you like to work like in quieter places like your home or library to create content. But you also want to be around people. It's just a different type of energy you like to mix it up with. And when I'm around coffee shops, or the malls, or wherever I like to go, I like to go to malls these days because it's just the energy. I get a coffee or drink, and the energy is just different. I need that as somebody who works at home. And when I have that energy, I like to work on different type of things for my publishing business. For example, I like to work on setting up the book, on Amazon. Like today, I just worked on my book, my new book. It's going to be called HowExpert Guide to Education, okay, for all levels, learning, teaching, and so forth. And I set it up basically on Amazon, Kobo, Google, Ingram Spark, and so forth. And then when I get home, I'll work on the content. I'll work on the content because I can focus more. And then I'll work on the formatting. And by the time, like in 2-3 days, I'll be done with that. And the last thing I'll need is the design for my designer. And right now, with this type of style, the way I'm pacing it, one day I do, the setting up for the book. And another day I work on the content. And if I do this just consistently, I could finish a book in 3 to 5 days, I notice. 3 to 5 days. This month in July, I published, I believe, 5 to 6 books doing it this method. And I initially wanted to publish 1 book a week, 52 books in 52 weeks. That was the pace I wanted to do it. And I'm already done around 5 to 6 books this month. So that's a good pace, I believe, I know there's some people out there who are probably publishing more than me, and shout out to them. But for me, I think 1 book a week is a good pace. And I'm not skimping over these books. I'm making sure each book topic I do is the highest quality book I can do, so I can move on, because I want to publish all categories, all topics from A to Z. So I don't want to go back and do another book. unless it's a hot seller. Then I'll do another book, like a version 2, like a volume 2. It won't be the same book, but it will be a different book, volume 2 type of book, okay? So the process I do it is like the first day I come up with a topic, the title, the table of contents, the book descriptions. That's simple. I can do that, okay? And then once I do that, I set up the book on all the platforms. And on top of that, I have to get my own ISBN, which I get at myidentifiers.com. I highly recommend people to do that. If you don't want to do it, these platforms, they also give you the ISBN as well. But that's setting it up. I could do that in one day. In 1 hour, actually. I actually did it in 1 hour today. Okay, a couple other platforms, you still, like for Apple, it's a little bit different. You need all the book files ready. Then you can set it up. So for Apple, I do that until the end, okay? Even the audiobook platforms like Findaway Voices, I set it up. I don't even have the audiobook files, but just to prepare myself, you know? I don't want to do it when I have the audiobook files. Save time and energy. Just do it all at once, you know? They have a saying, you know, stay ready to get ready. Stay ready. Just stay ready to get ready. Don't get ready when you need to get ready. Just get ready. Be prepared. Okay? Preparation is key, right? So I like to just prepare it, set it up first, and then, you know, I'll go back home. Like today, I work remotely. I'll go back home, and when I get back home, I'll do the content. Okay? I'll do the content. It could take 2 days or 1 day to finish the book. Okay, but honestly, I could finish the book in 1 day. I use AI, but the thing about AI is they have a limit. Like, you cannot use AI like over an hour. The paid version, the one I use is the paid version, ChatGPT, but the paid version is 4.0, and you cannot use it for over an hour or whatever. And if you after you use it for an hour, you know, ChatGPT says, you won't be able to use it after a couple hours from now. So, but that's okay. For an hour, I can focus, you know? And I could generate up to about 7 chapters in content. Generally speaking, around 5 to 7 to 10 chapters, depending on what the type of style the table of contents is, right? So, I'm technically able to probably finish a book in about 1 to 2 days, realistically. I could get the setup, drafting done in 1 day, and in the same day, and I'll probably need 2 more days, I'll finish the book. So that's day 2. By day 2, I can finish the book, okay? Because day 1, I'll also do the content, and day 2, I'll finish the book. And day 3, I'll do the formatting. I can finish that in 1 day. And while I'm doing this, I'll be talking to my designer behind the scenes. Hey, I found this right image. I'll look, while I'm doing this, you know, during my break or whatever, I'll look at deposit photos for the best potential image. And day 3, I'll format it, but at the same time, I'll talk to my designer. I'll be like, hey, can you send me the best cover for this particular image? I like to personally pick the images now. You know, I used to delegate that, but then I wouldn't like some of the images that were picked or whatnot by my designers in the past. So I like to just have the final say. So I like to look for the image, but I don't do the design. I don't even know how to do any of that. You know, and you don't have to. Just, you know, and I've seen other independent authors who are really successful. They also pick their own design as well, and they just send it to their designer, and their designer sends the files. So during day 3, I finished the formatting, and sometimes if I'm lucky, I could get the design from my designer in the 3rd day. Probably most realistically the 4th day. But I'm done with the formatting by the 3rd day. And the 4th day, hopefully, if everything is in sync, I could get the design files by then from my designer, and all the paperback design files, the hardback design files, the Kindle ebook design files, everything. And by the 4th day, I could probably publish it. Okay? I could publish it in 4 days. The 5th day, I'm moving on, rinsing and repeating. I'm working on the next, what's my next topic? So that's kind of like the pace that I go with as an independent publisher for all topics from A to Z using AI. So it's a lot faster. Back then when I was working with real life freelancers, everyday experts for their topics, it took a longer time. It was the same process, except creating the content took me 3 months to wait. And there will be a lot of freelancers who wouldn't finish it by the deadline in 3 months. So that's why I hired multiple freelancers. And a lot of freelancers would quit, to be honest with you. It felt like almost like 70% of people I sent an offer to and accepted the offer, they quit. They don't communicate. So it took me a long time, you know. So it was a lot of wasted time, I feel like, looking back compared to using AI. Back then, I was just constantly posting jobs on Upwork, for example. Constantly looking for applicants. Constantly sending offers. But a lot of these offers I sent and they accept, and then I was sending instructions and message back and forth with freelancers. I don't have to do that with AI. I don't have to go back and forth with freelancers, messaging, answering the questions, and checking the chapter 1 and whatnot. With AI, I eliminate that because I just save a lot of time and energy because I'm just straight focused on what books to publish, and that's it. Rinse and repeat. So about in 4 to 5 days, I can get a book published, one book published in every 4 to 5 days. You know, that's why this month I was able to publish about 5 to 6 books. You know, and I want to keep it at this pace because I know there's other publishers out there. They're publishing up to 3 books a day with AI. It's insane. But for me, it's not just about quantity. It's also about quality and quantity. So anyways, that's it for right now. If you want to learn how I'm doing it as well as a publisher or author, click that link below the video. Check out my resources. Thanks for watching. Talk soon. All right. Take care. Bye.